I'm just gonna start talking. Can I just start talking?
Gender neutrality means that there are no rules. Gender is about rules. It's about abiding by rules and outlines and guidelines, very strict guidelines written by decades, centuries, millennia old society. So when you strip away the rules, you just get fashion, you get emotion, you get compulsion, you get the ability to do and say and be whoever the fuck you want to be. And that means that I could walk outside onto the street with a giant, fluffy, pink and purple thing with my nails done up, raggedy old jeans and a shitty pair of sneakers, because if that's what I want to say that day, that's what I want to say. And it doesn't matter whether I'm a man or a woman or anywhere in between, because it's about freedom and not being closed off and defined by everyone else's perceptions. What is the difference between a man and a woman? I think, other than like physical things. I mean, when is it, like the first trimester, where like either like everything drops out and you become a man, or everything stays inside and you become a woman? Like that's what I think the difference is between a man and a woman. I think that we have a lot of ideas, again, because of like what we've been told all of our lives forever, of what a man is and what a woman is, and what is and is not appropriate for both genders, and what both genders are capable of. But like, capability comes down to like how bad you want something, what you're going to do with the opportunity that comes in front of you. It has nothing to do with whether you're a man or a woman. I just know a lot of men and a lot of women who completely defy every single stereotype and everything that's ever been like put. They defy everything that they're supposed to be. I think that we're all equal, to be honest, and I think anyone who has anything different to say is kind of running away from their own feelings and fears about the situation. Yeah, so talking about like the future of fashion and what that holds. So like, aside from like genderless fashion, from the idea of like juxtaposition, you also have like this like very future theme that's really about utility, that stems from us not having enough time to really do anything and have a lot more things to do. You need a garment to run with you all the time, because you're constantly running and you don't have time to like have something that doesn't work with you. So if you could take that idea and then take that into like gender blending, I think that's where fashion is going.
Gender isn't real. You have the physical anatomy of what is male and what is female by what we define it to be, but like gender is so much more than a physical state of being. It's who you are, it's the soul, it's the mind, it's the heart. Yeah, I started designing for men, and now I'm designing for men and women. They are very different depending on what you're making and who you're making it for. They don't have to be, depending on who your customer is. You have to do what's right for your customer. Designing for men is very different from designing for women. First of all, menswear is far less reactionary, that's for sure. Basically, so when you react in fashion, you're just like, you're responding to trends, you're responding to how things are moving, what's happening on the street, the colors, like trends. Like women's wear, the styles change constantly. So women's wear is constantly reacting to everything else that's happening in the world in a way that men's wear does not. Because at the end of the day, most men are going to wear a blue shirt or a black suit, and women, that'll change overnight. And you don't get to have that much fun, for lack of a better word, with most menswear. It's those little details with men that actually matter in a way that they don't matter so much in women's wear, because women's wear is much more newness, silhouette, color pattern driven. But honestly, I just want to design unisex clothing.
The blending of genders in fashion will help deconstruct these like pillars of stigma in society, because it's all about communication. There were actually a lot of moments, especially at Storm King today, where like I get a lot of inspiration from nature.
I looked at the way that the wind hit the surface of the snow, these sort of squiggly lines and these sort of like scaly tile pyramids, and like this tire track photo. Um, and the way that the sunlight hit these shapes in the snow, it created beautiful patterns.
I love the Dia because it's basically taking the nature of Storm King, everything that that's about, and putting it into a very man-made structure. And I love the pieces in Dia too. And I love that the pieces are really focused around space and light. Dia and Storm King say the same things in two different ways, like fashion, like perfection. Like they both hit like the core perfection in creation, in shape, in lighting, but one is created by man and one is created by the one thing that could destroy us all, nature.
A lot of the things that I found inspiring were about symmetry and light and color. And so you have the same kinds of concepts, just one is naturally constructed and one is constructed by humans. And like that's where I see the inspiration going into clothing and my work, because my work is very much about color and texture and light and manipulating those things to create the illusion of shape and movement and color. Both of these places represent transition, especially in their current states. So like you look at the snow and it's like um it's constantly transforming and constantly transitioning. I mean, you look at like the colors in the pictures of the snow and you see leaves on the ground because the earth nature is in a state of transition. And you see sunlight coming through the sky and coming through the clouds, and those clouds move and are constantly transitioning. And like a lot of these shapes is just like the space transitioning, um and water dripping into the snow, creating new ideas. And light is really just a matter of transforming and transitioning. Why would we want to limit ourselves from self expression in the things that we wear? That's why I do what I do. I hope to God not. I'd have to change what I did if we stopped expressing ourselves with the way we dressed. Because I don't do this to put my ego into the world. I do it to provide a tool for self expression. I'm going all over the place, huh?